You're all very welcome this morning to this second process, never mind the buzzwords. And this week, again, we're talking about a little bit about digitization. So last month we talked about the digital building blocks and the 7 building blocks of digital transformation. And today we're just going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the digital bird in the hand. Okay. And the digital bird in the hand is tools that are available to most of us already that we're probably not using properly. And our original plan for today was to talk about a selection of tools such as Office 365 or Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace and many other tools. But as we started just to pull together the information about Microsoft 365, it was just too big. There's just so much that could be done within this tool that most of us are already paying our 10.50 plus VAT per month for, that we thought it was worth just dedicating the entire session to that as well. So how today's session is going to work is we're going to have an overview of the tools that are available in the small business premium edition of Microsoft 365. And then after that, we're going to be joined by Marianne Watson, who's a lean IT and productivity coach and trainer. And she's going to take us through some tips and tricks in some of specific tips and tricks in one or two of the applications and how they all tie up as well. As with all of the buzzword sessions, we're going to invite you to participate. So after the initial presentation, we're going to invite you to participate. So do build up the questions. We have some polls coming later on. And if we have time at the end, we'll allow for some breakout sessions as well. But do get involved, do ask a question, do raise your hand, do start a chat. We're here to communicate and to learn from each other as well. Okay, perfect. So let's just crack on with the first of the tools. So remember, when we're talking about digitization, we're not actually talking about our website, but we're talking about the goals for business digitalization. And these goals can probably be simply broken down into productivity. Okay, so that's internal business optimization. So how can we do what we do already in the business, but how can we do it leaner, more optimized, quicker and faster? And again, here we're talking about a tool that most businesses already have to hand. They're already paying for and underutilizing as well. So we're not talking about additional purchases. It's also about becoming a data-driven business. Okay, so what can we do in our business to be using the data that we're collecting about our internal organization and our external customer base, and what can we use? How can we use that data and that information, and what tools are available to us so that we can actually use that to inform decisions and grow the business in a smarter way? And then outside, then again, how can we enhance the customer's experience when they're engaging with us? So in terms of our business and our business model, how's that starting to look externally? What's the customer experience? And really starting to improve in that with our internal efficiencies first, but also in our products and services. So as I touched on already, we had hoped that we talk about Google Workplace today, but we think it's for another session. We're going to take that deeper dive into Microsoft 365. And the reason we're taking that deeper dive into Microsoft 365 is there's just so much there within it. Okay, so just so many tools available as part of it. So we're just going to walk through some of those tools on a one-to-one basis, on a one-to-one, we'll walk through those tools by one. We get there eventually. And then Marianne is going to come in with some tips and tricks. So Microsoft Office 365 is an enterprise solution that's available in our personal lives, so for personal computer users, but also for enterprises as well. And it really can be adapted to all organizations and all sizes. Most of us, or most businesses, are paying for it or something similar to it in that €10.50 per user per month as well. So we're all familiar with the popular Microsoft applications and the Office applications: PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, OneNote, Access, Publisher. Although there's many more of these applications within that suite that have lots of usefulness to our business and that perhaps we're scratching the surface on. But there's over 30 of those applications there. And let's take a look just through some of them. So starting with the obvious ones that we know about, obviously Microsoft Word, handy for creating documents. It really sets the standard for word processing. Excel, something that's really underutilized in businesses or badly used in businesses. Perhaps it kind of sits between both of them. I'd be interested to hear Marianne's insight on that as well. So Excel is something that we think of for adding for spreadsheets, but it's so much more powerful than that. and really can be used for really high quality and detailed data analytics and graphing and charting and dashboards and so on as well. Obviously, PowerPoint allows us to create, display, and present information in slide format, and some really great things in PowerPoint as well, in terms of the presentation coach. So now within PowerPoint, you can actually be coached on your presentation skills to help you improve that as well. So if you are using PowerPoint or you have to do a presentation, look at the coaching feature within PowerPoint, which is a new thing. But again, we didn't want to spend too much time on the basic applications today. Microsoft OneNote is a really powerful application as well, to gather handwritten or computer typed notes, some drawings, some audio commentaries, and this note-taking program makes it possible to easily share the notes with other OneNotes as well. So it's a really convenient tool which allows you to file your notes and your doodles extremely well, and then link them into other aspects of your business and your organization as well. Microsoft Publisher is similar to Word, but beyond Word. It focuses more on pages, layout, and design and composition. Again, a lot of people would use PowerPoint for this type of thing, but Canva, I think, has really become the leader in this space for design and publishing as well. But again, Microsoft, you do have one included within your subscription to Office 365 as well. Access is an on-premise database tool. In the simplest form, it's a database, and it's a database management system, and the application can store data in its own format. It can also import and link directly to data stored in other applications across the suite or across the platform. It supports a variety of field types and forms to display and enter data as well. You can access database, it's on-premise or it's on your PC for most applications as well. So they're the base Office applications that come with Office 365. Now, in terms of team collaboration or enterprise and team collaboration, Microsoft SharePoint is a platform in which teams can collaborate, they can access, manage, and share data from any location. This web-based collaborative platform is really efficient from a content management system. Now, it takes time to implement and design a SharePoint for your organization. So don't underestimate what's involved in getting this off the ground, but it is there, it is accessible, and it is available to us. It is possible to use workflows on SharePoint to automate tasks such as document approval, and these kind of features allow you to focus your time on more integral things throughout the day as well. It also gives you the opportunity to create a project site, which is really useful as a project management tool, and it also integrates with many of the other apps that we're going to touch on today, like lists and to-do and tasks and teams and chat functions. It all kind of links across that as well. But SharePoint really is this intranet, or this really powerful potential intranet that we can design within our business to put all of our key documentation and our standards up there, and provide a central repository for everything within the business. Yammer then is a simple enough tool. It's really an enterprise social networking service for internally within your organization. And again, another major collaboration tool within Office 365. You can have access to it, so it's like a private chat within the organization, and it enables your users to safely collaborate, share pictures, documents, and create groups related to work and interest. Again, the chat function in Teams has largely taken over this for chatting around documents and channels. But again, in bigger organizations, they use Yammer as an internal communication structure as well. We're all familiar with Teams, whether we've a positive or a negative a version of it. So Teams, which Skype for Business still exists in some cases, which was a voice over IP, but largely consumed into Microsoft Teams now. And Microsoft Teams features those workplace chats, the meetings, notes, and attachments. It allows us to create channels, which also allows us to create permissions and groups within our organization as well. So you could have a management group, you could have a sales group, you could have an operations group, and only the people within that group can have those permissions to access the documents as well. So the Microsoft Team Workspace is designed to bring people and content together, okay, and to assist with tools needed for the team to collaborate. And any of you that are using will see that will know that from within Teams, we can also use almost all of the other Microsoft applications. So we can open an Excel document within Teams and we can actually work on it collaboratively within Teams. And we can also get those Teams channels to sync locally on our devices as well. So a really powerful tool, beyond just what we know it for in terms of calls and meetings, but really that central repository within our business for those chats, those meetings, the notes, and all the attachments within it as well, and getting those permissions right for sharing with other people, and even external collaborations as well. Okay, so Marianne's going to talk a little bit more about this later on, but in terms of task management or project management, we've got Microsoft To Do, which lets us create simple to-do lists, set reminders, and keep track of projects. Similar again to that again is tasks. Task Manager is allowing you to create to-dos and lists, and add reminders and due dates for those things as well. If we're using the cloud versions of our Outlook, and these things are all integrated much more seamlessly, and we can look at them across our day and get a daily to-do list or daily task list as well. Microsoft Project Online, there's also Microsoft Projects, which is it's a separate program. But Project Online is an advanced project management system, which allows for resource planning, timed entries, and project workspaces. Again, it's a heavy tool. Maybe not all of us will actually need it, but it is available there to us as well. Probably more suitable or more useful to us, to those of us in smaller business at least anyway, is Microsoft Planner, which is a task management system to allow us to create boards. So what we like in Lean to call the Kanban boards, the to-do, the in progress, and the done, create different columns and different tasks, and have detailed information within them, and also to have subtasks within them and details and completion dates and all that kind of fancy stuff within it as well. But really gives us that visual task management system right there from within Planner as a standalone item within the browser, but then also within Teams or also within the SharePoint environment as well. Next up, in terms of video and presentations, we talked about PowerPoint already. But we also have a product in there called Microsoft Sway. Okay, so Microsoft Sway is a presentation program, and content can be pulled locally or from an internet source. Another integration service of Sway presentations include, you can take it in from YouTube or from Facebook content. Stream then is corporate video sharing channel. That's replacing the old Microsoft Video, the Microsoft Video application, but allows us to have internal videos playing that are shared on an intranet as opposed to on an extranet like YouTube, or having external YouTube channels, even if they're set to private. So again, an area here now that we're all familiar with, or more familiar with, will be emailing and calendaring, which is a very complicated way of saying a calendar or a scheduler. So Microsoft Outlook, we're all familiar with, includes an email client, calendars, address books, contact books, and the task manager and to-do list integrates nicely with this here as well. It's mainly used for emailing, but can be used in integration with the Microsoft SharePoint server, and to share documents, calendars, and information within the organization as well. The calendar functionality manages our schedule, okay? So with meetings and appointments that can be shared with colleagues or external sources as well. Again, a product that's perhaps sometimes underused or used wrongly. And a common issue we see with a lot of businesses, which usually flags there's work to be done in their Microsoft 365 environment in terms of digitization, is that they can only access certain emails through certain mail clients. So their website emails come in one place, and their normal domain emails come in another place. And that usually marks or flags an issue with the email or the IT infrastructure in a business that needs to be rectified, with the first steps towards getting their Microsoft 365 environment much more regularized. Now, where Microsoft really starts to pick up here in terms of 365 and its potential applications is the business apps, okay? So one of the things in here is Staff Hub. So it's an app designed to help staff workers manage their workday, schedule management, information sharing, and the ability to connect with others. Also within here, we have Visio. So anyone who likes to do visual documentation, creating diagrams, draw flow charts, circuits, any other kinds of entity related models, IT infrastructure, process maps, all of that visual documentation for processes and workflows can be created here within the Visio and the Visio Online tool contained within Microsoft 365. A really kind of convenient app in here for all of us is a product called Microsoft Bookings. Okay, and Microsoft Bookings is a scheduling and booking application that makes it easy for small businesses to schedule and to manage appointments with their customers. Okay, so really powerful, simple application. We can even take payments, collect information about our clients as well. Similar products to this that perhaps we're paying for would be Calendly, Acuity Scheduling. Some of them may have better features, but we are paying for them, and we're paying for a similar product here already. Just some screenshots of what that looks like when it's actually in the field here. We can see that Katie Reed over here is trying to confirm a booking. So she's actually gone in, she's selected a time slot, she's entered in her information, and that booking then appears within our calendars, okay? And we can set restrictions within our calendars when different types of bookings or services can be booked in for, and so on. So again, a really great feature of Microsoft 365 is the Microsoft Bookings tool. Okay, onto file storage, search functions, and employees. Again, a lot of us familiar with OneDrive perhaps aren't using it correctly. Each individual user has an individual OneDrive, and OneDrive is a file hosting service that allows us to store files and personal data in the cloud. Okay, so our OneDrive typically appears on our laptop or on our device, but then it's synchronized from the computer up into the cloud, and it can be downloaded or shared with other people should we choose to do so. So remember, each individual user has their own OneDrive. They work on the documents there, and perhaps when they're finished with their document at that point, when they're ready for sharing with the organization, they can be brought up into the correct Teams channel or the SharePoint channel where they can be shared from there as well. Office Delve is like a search machine for Office 365. Users can search and manage their emails, their meetings, their contacts, their social networks, and their documents stored within OneDrive. And artificial intelligence within Office Delve starts to filter the most relevant content to the actual user. So it knows it starts to build up a picture of what you commonly look for, what you commonly use, and presents that through an algorithm, presents that information to you first, based on your behavior in the past. So again, an interesting search function there as well. The people element here kind of moves back into the Outlook side of it, and the calendaring. You can actually start to control your contacts and your people here, assign people into work groups, create lists of people that you can send, that you can share files with, that you can send specific information to as well. So again, lots more uses here. If we look at the analytics field, in the analytics field, we've got My Analytics, which shows how people spend their time. So some of you may actually get an email every morning telling you about how your day was spent in the previous day, or what's coming up for you in that day. So analytics shows how people spend their time and who they spend it with most. My Analytics is a private dashboard to the user that analyzes your work habits. For example, it can document your hours spent in meetings, your email hours, your focus hours, and even what you've done after hours. And based on that data, My Analytics then helps to increase your productivity, perhaps set some goals and monitor progress for higher impact. The dashboard is private, and so it can't be accessed by anyone else within the company. It's yours, okay? So it's you as the individual user, or your employees as individual users. But it tracks, it monitors and analyzes personal growth and makes recommendations for healthier work habits. And again, I don't know if some of you have seen this coming into your inbox. It actually goes back and it kind of reads parts of your email. And it says on the 11th of April, you said to this person that you would complete this action. It's able to pick that information out of an email and remind you of a potential task that you are due to complete as well. So that's within the My Analytics. Next, we have Power BI, again, often underutilized and kind of building out from the visualization tools that can be used within Excel. Power BI or Power Business Intelligence is a cloud-based suite of business analytics. Okay, so it enables users to connect, visualize, and analyze data with a higher speed, efficiency, and understanding. So it can pull a range of live data from various different sources and present it in an easy to use dashboard. but these aren't static charts. They're charts that can be drilled down on until we get to the actual raw data table as well. So think of the dashboards in your business, but really an opportunity to create compelling, visually interactive reports of that data that you're collecting within your business, and then take that data and turning it into insights and into actions and becoming that data-driven business. And then our final bundle of applications are the business application platforms within Microsoft 365. So at its simplest, we have Microsoft Forms. A lot of us will be familiar with SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or Jot Forms or other applications like that. Microsoft Forms is currently a simpler version of all of them. So it's not an advanced form system, but it's a tool that allows users to quickly create quizzes, surveys, questionnaires, and registrations. Now, the difference between that is that it doesn't, and some of the external form providers, is that that data then goes straight into your own system. It doesn't go through any third party or any interactions or any APIs to actually connect into a system. So your data is easily transferred into Excel or into built-in data analytics such as Power BI to visualize it further and to have further actions from that as well. And we just talked about that Power BI a little bit a few minutes ago. So Microsoft Forms, it is simpler. It's not as advanced as some of the other form software that's out there. But as I said, it just comes straight into your system and your data, and there's no third parties knocking around there as well. And it actually can feed into so many more of the applications. Next up then is Powerapps. Okay, so Powerapps are a non-code-based solution that allows users to easily build basic mobile and web-based business applications. Okay, so a bit of a mouthful there, but basically Powerapps allows you to go in and create some kind of form-based system or a canvas-based system to address a particular process within your business. Okay, to give you an example of one of them, you can go into the Microsoft Powerapps and you can select from templates. And one of the templates that they have in there is a meeting capture application. Okay, so what a meeting capture application does is it actually links multiple applications within your Office 365. And then ultimately what it does is it'll go into you when you have it set up and running. And this is one of their own templates. It will look at your diary. And in here, we can see the Never Mind the Buzzwords meeting that's in our calendar for today. We can start that meeting from within the application. And we can actually have a canvas in here for how meetings are managed. So we could have who actually turned up in the meeting, what the details or the information was there about the meeting as well. Any notes that were made in the meeting, and then what tasks or actions came from it as well. So that's a simple kind of application that's available in there as a template already. Other templates already available in there are a help desk. So within a help desk, you can have a user or an administrator log in. They arrive at this app, they click on the button and they can log a support request. And also as an administrator, you can log in and see the various support requests as well. Another one here that's also out of the box within it as well is a suggestion box. So employees can have a suggestion box. You go in there, you have an idea, you put it in, people can vote on it, and then administrators can go in and approve it or reject it or comment on it as well. And again, these are template-driven Power applications that are within the system. But it comes down to you having an idea or a concept or a process or something that you want to achieve. But the tools to do low code or a non-code based solution within Powerapps is there to do it. And again, included in your $10.50 a month as well. So right there as well. Last but not least, then we have Flow. And Flow or Power Automate, I think it's actually more actually called now, or it's been rebranded to, is a service that allows you to create automated workflows between your Microsoft applications, okay? And that can allow you to synchronize files, get notifications, collect data, or do more, okay? So a flow is a process. If you have a process that you have to repeat across multiple functions in Office 365, you can create a Power Flow. You can create a flow or a Power Automate to actually replicate that process. So on a starting point or a particular action, it'll go and carry out those steps for you as well. Now, some examples of these, and these are straight out of the box from within Office 365 as well. So it's kind of, I'm not sure if you guys can see this very clearly, but in the approval section of the existing templates, you can create a planner task when a Microsoft form is submitted. You can start an approval process and send an email. Send an email on Microsoft form submission. If somebody starts an email with to do, for example, you could actually create a task and planner automatically from that as well. So you can raise that from there. Also, that's in the approval. In terms of the email sections here, you can create a workflow or a flow that will save all attachments from Outlook into OneDrive, even specific folders. You can save Gmail attachments into a Dropbox folder, get daily reminders from Outlook about your email, various different flows. So think about a task that perhaps you've had to do across the Microsoft platform, and could that be automated? And the answer is it probably could be automated in Power Automate, which is a tool that's available to us already without going outside of our infrastructure within Microsoft 365 as well. My goodness. 5 minutes, I thought we'd get through that. We thought we'd get loads of applications in from loads of providers today, but not. When we started to unpack Microsoft 365 and what's there, what's being used, so the bird in the hand, as the saying is, there is just so much in it. And we've really just given a sentence or two to each of those applications. There's 30 applications that are within the Office 365 platform or the small business platform at the €10 a month. Now, we're not here to sell Microsoft Office. It's not about that. Okay, it's not what we do. We couldn't even sell it to you if we wanted to. But what we're here today, I suppose, to talk about is that we tend to look somewhere else. Okay, the grass is greener. There's another application somewhere that can do things easier, quicker, and really right under our nose. And whether it's Microsoft 365 or it's Google Workspace or Google Business or another product that we might use, there's plenty of untapped potential in what we have already. And that was just a brief overview of what's there. So I'm delighted to be joined today by Marianne Watson, who's a lean IT and productivity coach and has years experience training people in Microsoft tools as well as other application tools as well. So today she's going to share with us some tips, a couple of tricks on how to use. I'll let her explain exactly what she's going to share. I don't need me to preempt or tell you what her presentation is going to be. So she's got some tips, she's got some tricks, some tools that we can use. And I would say to you at this point, guys, is start to pop some questions in the chat about that you would have that perhaps you think Marianne could respond to as well. We can give you some information as well. So Marianne, I'll hand over to you if you want to start sharing your screen.
That's great, Stuart. Thanks a lot. Good morning, everybody. So it's overwhelming, as you can see, the myriad of applications that are available within 365, but also not only that, it's also the myriad and the variety of features and functionality that is available within each of the applications just in their own right. So I am going to share my screen here now, and just time-wise, I suppose I really want to give you a few takeaways from from today. So I am going to cover some shortcuts and tips and tricks within the applications that most of us would use most regularly, those being Outlook and Excel mainly today. But also I don't want to disregard the bigger picture either. So Stuart was speaking about, managing tasks and workload effectively. And sometimes it's not just...
Marianne, just before you get into full through there, we're just seeing your presenter mode as opposed to your output.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh dear, okay.
Just in case you had any secrets in there that you didn't want us to see.
No, and this is very strange now. Oh, it's because, let me see now. I think it's because I'm using a second monitor. So I might just unplug that monitor.
Now in the share, in the when you do, if you still have your second monitor, when you share, you just share the other monitor. You might be sorted there, yeah.
Can you see just that as it is there with just the?
We can see your open PowerPoint now, yeah.
That's okay. Look, I'll leave it on that. It'll just save time. I'm just conscious of time here.
We've plenty of time. We've plenty of time.
Okay.
Yep.
So so the first thing here is Outlook with regard to your own task management and your own workload management, really. There's a particular process that can be used within Microsoft Outlook that will allow you to achieve an empty inbox, basically. So the way in which you can do that is through the use of Microsoft Outlook tasks. Now, obviously today I won't be able to show you that process, but Outlook tasks will allow you to achieve an empty inbox. They allow you to store email that requires any future action, which is why you can an empty inbox. So any work that needs to be deferred can be created as a task. You can also create, if you like, transfer your handwritten list into this task area. You can record any work that needs to be followed up, and you can also group related work to make it easier to achieve the work that you're needing to accomplish. So that, if you like, Microsoft Outlook takes care of your own workload and your own tasks, but that is only just one element of that. You also have group work, if you like, and teamwork. So most of you may be using Microsoft Teams at the moment. And Stuart mentioned Planner earlier. So Planner is an app that can sit within Microsoft Teams, and then you can actually use Planner as a means for group working and for task assignment. Now, the issue is that they're two separate applications. So how do you bring them together? So you need a third application, which is Microsoft To Do. So not only you know, as I was saying, not only is it complex with regard to the myriad of applications that are available to you, sometimes it is actually a combination of those applications that will give you the solution that you're looking for. Now, to get more specific, today we're going to have a look at just some shortcuts, and this is just so everybody has a takeaway from today. We're going to start off by having a look at some Windows shortcuts. I'll show everyone how to access the how to customize quick access toolbars, and also we'll have a quick look, time permitting, at some Excel shortcuts and also Outlook shortcuts. The good news is you don't need to remember any of this, because we will be emailing you a PDF of a shortcut key listing following the actual presentation. Okay, so the first thing actually I want to mention is the taskbar shortcuts down here. You'll see that I have on my screen, I have the Outlook, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, etc. application icons pinned. If at the moment you are accessing the applications through the start menu, that's hugely time consuming in its own right. So once you've accessed the application, perhaps using the start menu, once the application is running, it's just a matter of right clicking on the application icon on the taskbar, and then I'm just going to unpin it here, but right clicking, and then you choose the option to pin to taskbar. Once you do that, when you close the application, the icon will remain on your taskbar, so you can access it more easily in future. So any application that you use regularly, once it's launched, right click the icon on your taskbar and pin it to your taskbar for future access. Okay, so what I have done here is I have accessed Outlook, I've accessed Excel, and I'll just access Word, and PowerPoint is already running. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is just switching between windows. Obviously, you can use your application icons down here on your taskbar. Alternatively, you can use the Alt and Tab. Alt and Tab enables you to switch between applications in a tiled format. Okay, if you want to quickly show your desktop, the Window key combined with the letter D on your keyboard will show your desktop quickly. And again, Window D will restore your windows back up to where you were previously. There's another useful one as well, which is Window L, which I won't use now because it will lock my screen, but it's a handy one if you're sharing the office with other people, and if you're leaving your PC or your laptop at any stage, just the Window key combined with L will just lock your screen for you. Okay, so I just want to quickly then go to Microsoft Excel here. And I want to show you, using Excel, I want to show you here how to customize your quick access toolbar. Now, again, I'm aware that, you know, we probably have all ranges of knowledge levels here. So some people may be, you know, have quite a, if you like, be less experienced than others. So I'm going to try and cover, that everybody will have something to take away with this. But for those of you who do not know, the quick access toolbar is always located up to the top left-hand corner of your Microsoft applications. Now I'm using Excel as an example here, but you can do this in any one of the applications, Word, PowerPoint, etc. So there's a little drop down to the right-hand side of the quick access toolbar. And by clicking on it, you'll see that it displays some of the more commonly used commands. Now, you might think it's odd, for example, that there is no command at the moment for new. So to create a new workbook, apart from the startup screen, I would need to go into File, New, etc. Again, multiple steps. So instead, I simply click here on my Customize Quick Access Toolbar button, and I'm going to add the new command button to the Quick Access Toolbar by simply clicking on it. I'm also, sorry, now I'm just going to have to move this out of the way. I'm also going to add in Open, and I'm also going to add Print, Preview, and Print. Now, if I want to add anything other than that, I have the option of clicking on the Customize Quick Access Toolbar button here, go into More Commands, and within this dialog box, I can then reorder these. So I want my New File button to be up on top, so I can move it up. I want Open to be down underneath that. And I'm happy, actually, I'll move the Print, Preview, and Print up just above the Undo also. Anything in addition to that, over to the left-hand side, I can see popular commands are currently listed. I can change that to show all commands. And now this just gives you an idea. These are all alphabetically listed, and these are all of the commands that can be added to your quick access toolbar. So ask yourself, if there is a particular command that you need to go into a dialog box to access, go and see, is it available here in the all commands listing? And if so, you can then add it to your quick access toolbar. So the example I'm going to use here is just close all. Here we go. So there's a particular command button that's quite useful if you've got multiple Excel files open. Rather than having to close them all individually, I am now adding my close all command button, which I'm just going to double click. And double clicking it adds it to my quick access toolbar here on the right. Now remember, this can be done in any one of the applications. I'm just using Excel as an example, as a means to do that. The other thing that I want to show, that's something that's available to all applications as well, that you may or may not be familiar with, is the Clipboard task pane. Again, I could spend hours going through the shortcuts, but this Clipboard task pane is particularly useful if you're wanting to copy and paste content, not just from, we'll say, multiple locations in a single application, but if you're actually wanting to copy something from Word, you're wanting to copy something from Excel, you may want to copy something from Visio, and you want to bring them into PowerPoint, let's say. This here, over on the home ribbon, in the Clipboard group, I'm just going to expand my Clipboard task pane, which displays this task pane here on the left-hand side. I'm just going to clear everything. And in here, I am going to just select a range of cells, and I'm going to right-click and copy. And as I do, you'll see that I have an item collected here on my Clipboard task pane. I'm going to go to a different sheet. I'm going to select another selection here. I'm going to copy, or the shortcut key Control-C is another option for copying. And if I want to, then I can go to, I can open up a different file. I could open up something, I could open up PowerPoint, whatever. I can actually copy things from there. I can then go along and create a new blank workbook, which I'm going to do using my shortcut key. And I can then just paste the items as I wish, where I wish, by simply just clicking on them. Anywhere the hash symbol appears, it just means that a number, a date is seen as a number. The number is too large to be displayed in the cell, so it displays those hash symbols. It's just a matter of going up and resizing the column, which I did by just double clicking there. Okay, so the Clipboard task pane, again, is available in all applications, and you can use it to copy content, copy and paste content across applications. I want to just quickly go through a few options within Outlook. So here I have my Microsoft Outlook. Now, this gives you an idea because I have mine set up. This is my inbox. And over here on my right-hand side, I have my to-do list. So this is my task listing, basically for today, and that's for tomorrow, etc. So I know exactly what I need to get through today, and it's literally a task list that I need to work my way through. So that's an idea as to how you can use as to how it will look, if you have that task management system set up within Outlook. But to something that everybody would be using, just switching between the areas. So Control-1 which I'm already in, is mail. Control 2 will bring me to calendar. Control 3 will bring me to contacts, and control 4 will bring me to tasks. Control 1 then will bring me back to mail. Control N will create a new, in this case, message, because I'm in mail. But if I'm in calendar, so if I go to Control 2 for calendar and now do Control N, it creates a new calendar entry. So basically, Control N will create a new item. I'm going to go back to mail again using Control 1. To open up any email message, you can just double click, and to navigate through your messages, rather than, you may end up with 20, 30 different email messages open at the one time. To avoid that, simply, once you've opened one message, you can navigate through the messages using your quick access toolbar to the top left-hand corner. You don't even need to customize it. The command buttons are already there. So you'll see there you have a next item and you have a previous item button on your quick access toolbar, and you'll see the shortcut keys that can be used for those are Control greater than and Control less than. Okay, so navigate down through the messages and navigate back up through the messages. Basically, it's giving you a single window and you're navigating through the messages using that single window. Escape will close a secondary window, and at any stage you can use Control or to reply, Control F to forward. So again, I know they're only small things, but you'd be surprised that the amount of time that those small things in their own right can save. Now, I'm just conscious of the fact that it's now at 1:15. So Stuart, how are we going time-wise?
You're perfect for time, Marianne. You've another 10 minutes, yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, yeah. So there are lots of other things that I want to show you. So one of the things that I want to show you, and again, some of you may already have this set up, is your signature. Maybe give a kind of a thumbs up there if you currently have a signature set up. Yep. Okay, so some have, yep. If you don't, I would certainly recommend that you do set up your signature. And there is an option here, even for those of you who have signatures set up. I just want to show you, actually, the easiest way to set up a signature is just create a new blank message to start with, rather than having to go in through the options section. And then within the message ribbon, you'll see you have your signature button available there. And then it's just a matter of going straight into signatures. Now, I want to create a new signature, but you have two options. So often it is useful when you receive an email from somebody to have their full contact details available to you. But if you are replying to an original thread, you don't necessarily want the full contact details being placed at the bottom of the email again. So what I would suggest that you do is create a long and a short signature, and I'll show you that there. So I'm going to create new, and I'm just going to create long, and I'm going to click on OK. Now, I won't spend too long here, but so Marianne Watson, so let's imagine you'd have company name, you'd have address, maybe you'd have the website, etc. You can imagine. To make it look a little bit different to the standard content, you can go and just change your font. I like Calibri Light. And you can also maybe make it a little smaller. You could also change the color. So it looks more like, even though it's not an image, it looks more like an image than, just your standard text. So that's, we'll say, my long signature. And then I might have my, okay, so something like that. Now, maybe then you may also want a similar one. I'm just going to select this and copy it. And I'm going to save, and I'm going to create a new signature. I'm going to call it short. And in here, I am just going to have my name, not the company name, not the address, not the website, just my name and my contact number, let's just say, as an example. And again, I am going to just save that. So here I now have two signatures, one long and one short. So the long one, I want to go at the bottom of new messages. So you'll see it's already selected that option for me. And then for replies and forwards, the default is set to none. But rather than having none, or rather than having long, on my replies and forwards, I just want my short signature. So you'll see the idea of that. And then if I click on OK, If I press escape to close out of this, when I create a new email, by the way, just all I did there was I double clicked a blank space within the email area to create a new email. And you'll see there is my long signature. And if I press escape, if I simply reply to this, you'll see that when I do a reply, I get my short signature. So again, it's time saving, and people aren't going to be spending forever looking for your contact details because you'll have the relevant contact details at the end of your email for them. Anything other than a signature then, you know, the signature obviously is content that's used regularly, but what about other content? You know, you might make a sales call, for example, and you may want to follow up that sales call with a typical sales email. Many thanks for taking my call. As promised, please find attached information, etc., etc. So what you can do is you can create what's called a quick part. Now, by the way, this is a Microsoft Word feature, but because Word is used as the email editor within Outlook, it's available within Outlook. So I'm just going to create a new blank message again by just simply double clicking, and I'm just going to type some text. So many thanks for taking my call, as promised. And let's imagine I've typed paragraphs here. Okay. So all you do is you simply select the text that you want to create as your quick part. And then by going to the insert ribbon here, I go to my quick parts button. I want to save this selection, which I've got here, to my quick part gallery. And I just simply want to give it a name. So I'm going to call it sales. And I'm going to click on OK. And that's it. It's as easy as that. I'm going to press escape to close this message. I'm going to say, no, I don't want to save it. So from here, I'm going to create a new message using Control N. Okay, I would address the message, etc. And then down in the body area, I want to insert my quick part. I simply go to my insert ribbon. I go to quick parts, and there it is, called sales. So, you know, you can have as many quick parts as you wish, and they can contain logos. They can contain, you know, images. It's not just it's not just it's not just text. It can be logos and images and etc. Whatever's selected is basically created as your quick part entry. Again, it's only a small thing, but it can be hugely time saving. Now, because quick parts is something that I would use regularly, rather than having to go to the insert ribbon each time I want to use quick parts, another way to customize your quick access toolbar. Do you remember in Excel, I clicked on the customize button at the end, and then I chose the buttons, or I went into more commands. Another option is once you locate a command that you want maybe on a different ribbon, so in this case, the insert ribbon, I can then right click my quick parts button, and I can add that command button to my quick access toolbar. And there it is. So in future, if I want to use my quick parts, I can simply click where I want it to go, and then using my insert quick parts button up here, I don't even need to remember that it's on the insert ribbon because I've added it to my quick access toolbar. Okay, so I'm just having a look here now. The other option then, one thing I wanted to show you as well, not a lot of people I've found are familiar with this. If you've got 2 or 3 messages that you're wanting to forward on to a single person, rather than forwarding them on individually, you simply select the first message, and then using the control key, select any other message that you're wanting to forward, and then simply do Control F. And when you do your Control F, you'll see that what it does is it forwards the individual messages as an item into a single email, rather than having to forward them all, you know, multiple emails as separately. I'm just going to press escape just to close out this here again. When asked, do I want to save my changes, again, rather than using the mouse, because it's the switching between keyboard and mouse that can also be quite time consuming. You'll see the Y of yes is underlined, or the N of no is underlined. So I can just type N for no, and it basically does the same as clicking on no for me. When you're wanting to send a message, another handy one I think is, so if I do Control N to create, if I type in Stuart here, for example, test, hello, and now I want to send this message, I simply hold down the control key and press enter, and that's it. It sends the message. So all of these shortcut keys, as I mentioned, will be sent to you as just a PDF. So do you know what I would say to you is with regard to the shortcut keys, because they in their own right do save a huge amount of time, it does take, you probably will find you'll slow down initially, but once you make a conscious effort to practice shortcuts for 1 or 2 days, genuinely, they're almost impossible to forget after that point, and they just come automatically. So it is worth that initial slowdown in order to reap the benefits, if you like.
Marianne, do you know what? I'm looking around the screens, and I'm also including myself as well. I'm scribbling furiously as you. Oh, I'm like, Jesus, I never knew you could do that.
Yeah.
And the copy paste, I never knew you could do that as well. And the amount of times I Control and C, Control and V,
and
move
copy and
between
paste
panes.
forward and back. Yeah.
And again, we're they're shortcuts that, perhaps if it's something we have to do highly repetitively, there's other automation tools we can use as well. But we've, as we say to everyone, it's process first. You've got to have the process, you got to have the system, then decide to automate it. So copying and pasting has to be a problem enough for you that you then decide you want to automate it. You have to be doing it over and over.
Yes.
I mean, everyone's scribbling furiously that I can see on camera. So some really good tips there. I mean, what would you say, like, as you're working with clients or training people, what are the key issues that people are running into, from a pain point of view? What's the stone in the user's shoe that you come up with, the most common one that you come up with?
It's exactly as you said there, that I never realized you could do that. I never realized you could do this. And I mean, that's half the battle is yes, for knowing what's available to you. Like, we'll say, even with Excel, for example, or even with Outlook, it's only the tip of the iceberg, functionality that's being used within each of the applications. And it's only really by exploring the other functionality that people realize what the applications are capable of in the first place. So it's both knowing how to do things as effectively or as efficiently as possible within an application, and also knowing what functionality is available within the application in the first place. It's a combination of those two things. And certainly the one that I keep coming across time and time again is that the email overload. And using tasks, you can overcome that. You can achieve your empty inbox. So it's just a matter of knowing the capabilities of the applications, and then knowing how to go about putting that functionality into practice, really.
Okay. And it's and is it because, I mean, when people come in and they get their eyes opened through the engagement or through the training, do people not have a written down process? I mean, we have this conversation all the time that people want to jump to solutions, but they actually haven't got a standard way of working first. So is that something you come up as well, that people, they just want a shortcut, but they actually don't have the long way or the written down in any fashion?
Yes. So again, it's really knowing the capabilities of an application. So you might be doing something in a long way around. You may not be, you may not be aware that there is a faster way of doing it, or even that you're using the wrong application. I've come across often, people are using Word where they should be using Excel, and vice versa. So it can be any combination of reasons, really. But yeah, it's and I mean, you can even see from what you covered this morning, it's so overwhelming, not just the functionality within each application, but also the fact that there's such a range of applications available to people. And often, and I think this is something that with Microsoft, often there's actually quite an overlap between applications and what applications. So how, it's to know which application is the best one to use for your specific requirement, and that can be tough in its own right.
Yeah, so I mean, I always say to people, fall in love with the problem and not the solution. So I mean, spend more time thinking about the problem and then fix what annoys you. So fix what's bugging you. So if you become aware, as the copy and paste thing or the signature that you showed, if you become aware that that's a potential solution, well, then it should annoy you every time you have to do that, and you should be you're going after that to try and fix it as well. So look across your day, just everyone here, look across your day, look at the things that you're doing over and over again, and perhaps you haven't got time to fix them now, but you think there has to be a better way. And that's where you need to start reaching out and looking for the help and support to do that. Because if you think there has to be a better way, there's a good chance that more probably is a better way. Now, it will take you a bit of time out of your day, you know, gain some new knowledge, go and get some training, go and get some support to do it. But then in the long term or the medium term, you will have it, you know, streamlined and automated from there as well. So, and again, looking at the other Microsoft applications that we tried to go as quickly through as possible at the start, but there was just so many of them, you know, they're out there, you know. So, and I said we didn't go into huge detail, but if you think any of the, I know we get a lot of people from the lean community on these calls as well. I mean, if you do a 5S activity, like that 5S audit sheet that perhaps you have in an Excel or a Word document, that could be put into a Power App, and people could have access to the application, and they could be on the actual, in your site or on your site, and wherever the location is that they're doing the audit, and they could be taking pictures of things that need to be addressed. Think of a, you know, a preventative maintenance application that you create in Powerapps, which is simple form or canvas-based application. You can spot a defect or an issue, take a photo of it, record the location. Any of these applications will can actually link into the GPS on the phone that's being used as well, so it can actually tag the location. Any kind of quality work, snag lists, building, all of those types of things. Anything that has a process, if you've taken the steps to document your process, and you are using Excel or lists or Teams or anything that to do part of it, you can create an application or a custom application to do that within these tools that are available to you already. So the opportunities are endless. Now, that isn't to say that Microsoft is the be all and end all. You might find that actually, as part of your digital transformation, as part of your digitalization of your processes, that you actually need to go to another product or another service. But on the way there, these are the type of products that can help. And it starts off with getting right down to the basics, you know, of how are my emails going out, you know, how am I copying and pasting, how am I executing the work as Marianne has done today as well. So just a comment in there from Rachel. Thanks, Rachel. So I think people focus on getting better at faster at what they're trying to do, and less on gaining efficiency with the tools that they use to do it. So there's room for improvement everywhere, which is a great point, Rachel, as well. So existing tools, getting faster, that's the first step, and then innovating new applications within that tool set as well. So look, we're right up to 12. Marianne, thank you so much for your time and for your expertise. Guys, if you do have any questions or comments, or you feel that what we've talked about today is something that you could need help with, like, get in touch. The supports are out there, whether that be from documenting your processes, from getting some basic training. You know, some of you have completed some polls here as well. Do get in touch, do let us know. I just made a note there that 64% of the people on the call are actually using Office 365, and 95% of them didn't know all of the applications that it was there for. They were largely using this for their email, and maybe not even properly for their email as well. So look, as I said, do get in touch, do reach out, do sign up to the LinkedIn group. Let me just share out some housekeeping before I get in trouble with Julie and Veronica for not telling you all about the next event. So just in terms of some housekeeping, so keep in touch. So there's a LinkedIn group. So if you go on to Never Mind the Buzzwords, everyone who's here today will be emailed, and all the links will be in it as well. Follow us on Eventbrite. You'll get to know about all the different events coming up as well, and join the mailing list as well. So as the different events or things that are interesting or relevant to the community that we're building here, we will you can stay in touch and hear about them as well. The next event is on in 2 weeks' time, and it's becoming an employer of choice. So moving away from the Great Resignation, or the talk of the Great Resignation, what can we do to flip that on its head and have a great retention? So how can we retain the people that we have? So, and that's steps and things we can do to become an employer of choice, and attract talent, but more importantly, to keep the talents that we have. Okay, we don't want to be turning them over as well. So like bees to honey, as Julie put it so well here. So I think Veronica's going to pop a link to that in the chat. And then the next process event, which is in 4 weeks, we've dates to confirm, because there's a whole lot going on for Lean Enterprise Week, which is taking place in May. But our next Buzzwords process in approximately 4 weeks is about considering our business model from a sustainability perspective. Okay, so we're probably familiar with the business model canvas. We're going to introduce a tool called the Sustainable Business Model Canvas, which starts to benchmark ourselves and think about our products and services and how we can innovate on them from a sustainability perspective as well. So that's in approximately 4 weeks. But date for your diary, 2 weeks from now, is our people side of buzzwords and the great retention with Julie and a guest to be confirmed. But that just leaves me for now to let everybody go and get out of here on time, as we usually promise. And to thank Marianne again for her time. And guys, do get in touch if you have any questions or any comments. It would be great to hear from you as well. So thanks, everyone.